Today's briefing focuses on 4 operational fronts. Active exploitation is steering patch priorities. 2 widely used developer platforms face critical remote code execution risk. A so-called ransomware acts like a data wiper, and cloud identity for AI agents just got a necessary fix. If you're tracking exposure across mixed environments, the themes are clear. Move fast on newly weaponized CVEs, harden developer pipelines, validate your backup strategy against destructive behavior, and reassess cloud roles that touch automation and AI. Let's get into the details. First, VECT 2.0 ransomware is behaving less like extortion and more like sabotage. Threat hunters report that across Windows, Linux, and ESXi variants, the locker irreversibly destroys files larger than 131 kilobytes due to a critical flaw in its encryption design. The result? Even the operators can't recover data, and paying the ransom won't help. This is part of an ongoing trend where poorly engineered lockers have wiper-like effects, amplifying operational impact on servers and hypervisors. It matters because recovery options narrow to backups and rebuilds. There's no decryption fallback. For defenders, prioritize immutable, offline backups and routine restore testing. Harden access pathways commonly used for initial intrusion, RDP, VPN, and ESXi management. Add detections for rapid file touch and overwrite patterns, and segment hypervisors to contain blast radius. Next, CISA has added 2 vulnerabilities to the known exploited vulnerabilities catalog based on evidence of active exploitation. CVE 2024-1708, a ConnectWise Screen Connect path traversal issue, and CVE 2026-32002, a Microsoft Windows protection mechanism failure. KEV listings indicate confirmed in the wild use and are intended to drive urgent remediation, especially across the federal enterprise. This matters because KEV designations should move these flaws to the top of your patch queue, even if you're not in the public sector. For defenders, inventory where Screen Connect is exposed and which Windows builds are affected. Apply available patches or vendor mitigations immediately, and constrain remote access to management consoles. Increase telemetry on authentication, file writes, and process creation around these services to catch follow-on actions. On the open-source robotics front, researchers disclosed a critical unpatched flaw in Hugging Face's Lee robot, tracked as CVE 2026-25874, with a CVSS score of 9.3. The issue is untrusted data deserialization that can lead to unauthenticated remote code execution. With the project's broad visibility in research and prototyping environments, an RCE in default or common configurations risks compromise of systems used for automation and experimentation. It matters because RCE in a robotics control stack can provide a foothold into lab and edge compute networks, and because there is no patch yet. For defenders, take Lee robot instances off the public internet, restrict access to trusted network segments or VPN, and run them in hardened containers or VMs with least privilege. Monitor the project for updates, apply any published workarounds, and log inbound traffic to identify probing. Treat any exposed demo endpoints as high risk until remediations land. In the software supply chain, researchers detailed a critical GitHub vulnerability, CVE 2026-3854, with a CVSS of 8.7, affecting GitHub.com and GitHub Enterprise Server. The flaw is a command injection path that could allow an authenticated user with push access to achieve remote code execution with a single git push. While push access is required, many internal repos grant broad contributor rights, making this a meaningful insider or compromised account vector. It matters because a repository push triggering RCE can become a pivot into CI/CD infrastructure or sensitive build systems. For defenders, apply vendor fixes or mitigations as they are released for GitHub Enterprise, and review organization-wide permissions to minimize who can push to protected branches. Isolate build runners and webhooks, enforce branch protections and required reviews, and monitor for anomalous push activity and unexpected process launches tied to repository events. Finally, Microsoft has patched an Entra ID issue involving the Agent ID Administrator role, which supports AI agent identity lifecycle operations. Findings showed the role could enable privilege escalation and service principal takeover, creating a path to broader identity compromise. This matters because AI-related identities and automation roles are now part of your poor attack surface, and misconfigured or overprivileged roles can undermine conditional access and least privilege models. For defenders, confirm your tenant has the relevant updates, audit assignments of Agent ID Administrator, and remove the role where not strictly necessary. Implement privileged identity management for time-bound elevation, monitor service principal changes and credential updates, and review app-only permissions across automation agents. Treat AI agent identity governance with the same rigor as human admin accounts. Across today's stories, the operational rhythm is consistent. Prioritize known exploited CVEs, reduce developer pipeline blast radius, ensure recoverability against destructive behaviors, and bring AI identity into standard IAM hygiene. If this helped you set your week's priorities, subscribe for more briefings, and share this with your incident response and cloud identity teams so they can action the takeaway.